Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Flying. Fun fact about me, I'm not the biggest fan of flying. I'd rather fly than drive, but at the same time, one of my greatest fears is being in a metal tube at 30,000 feet and then that metal tube just falls out of the sky. That's one of my biggest fears. And every time I get on a plane, I am reminded of that fear. And over the years, I've had a lot of weird experiences with flying. As someone who's flown to Florida pretty much every year of their life, I'm no stranger to flying in thunderstorms. Seriously, it's become like second nature to me. Oh, there's a lightning bolt out the window. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Really, a lot of things don't faze me as much as they used to for a period of time. And I've dealt with snow as well. We had a trip to Detroit not that long ago, and of course it was snow squalling. So I got my very first de-icing. So that was cool. There's nothing more unsettling than having to have your plane sprayed with green Nickelodeon slime to protect against ice crystals because that will kill you. But long story short, I have gotten pretty used to weird, wacky flying experiences. But anyway, today's topic is about my most recent flight. I went home for Thanksgiving. Yes, I know this is going to be out way past Thanksgiving. Don't mention it to me. I'm really busy. So I went home for Thanksgiving, and oh my lord. Oh, that sucked. So you might be wondering, well, gee, what almost drove you to tears this time? Well, let me tell you. So the flight was pretty normal to start off with. I mean, there was a bit of rain. Actually, no, that's not true. There was a lot of rain. It was an afternoon flight, so you'd think the sun would be up for most of it, but welcome to the North United States of America, where it starts getting dark at 4 p.m. Bruh. So as soon as we got on the plane, there were no delays. The flight attendant started coming around and asking me if I wanted a drink. You know, within 3 minutes of me getting on the plane. And he tells me that it's because there's turbulence, so they're not going to be able to do any service throughout the entire flight, and the flight attendants have to remain seated. So that's a bad sign. Again, I can handle turbulence pretty well, and I'd rather they give us a heads up than just hit it while I'm trying to use the bathroom. That just doesn't bode well. So he serves me a drink, he serves all of us drinks, you know, it's all good, it's all fine. We get a rundown from the pilots. They say it'll be a bit bumpy. So nice of them to give us a heads up, because that was totally and completely inaccurate. Just a bit bumpy, my butt. No way, that was not just a bit bumpy. If that was just a bit bumpy, I'd hate to see what they think moderately bumpy looks like. Anyway, we take off. It's relatively uneventful. It's cloudy, and we sit in a cloud for a while, but it's late out, so I'm just looking at way. I played Zelda. I beat Queen Gibda while I was sitting there, so I was very productive with my time. And after I beat the boss, I was kind of just like twiddling my thumbs, wondering what do I do for the next half an hour of the flight. And then we started going down. They announced we're approaching final descent. So, this is right as my Wi-Fi is starting to run out, and I think they cut it off early. So I lose my Wi-Fi, which means I can no longer track where the flight is at. The American app still shows us is coming in on time. We're like 25 minutes out, and we start going down through the cloud layer, and then we just sit in this cloud for the next 25 minutes. And at this point, the sun is starting to set, and it's, you know, not even that late. It's maybe like 4:45, and we're just going through this cloud, and it starts getting dark. And I have pictures. We're just sitting in this cloud in the dark, and the only thing I can see is the flickering orange light. And at first, I really wasn't all that concerned. I mean, I knew we'd be landing in about half an hour anyway, so I wasn't really going to freak out when American Airlines app was clearly telling me we were going to be on the ground in 15 minutes. And I kept looking out the window because we're in storm clouds, and that means as we get lower, there's going to be rain on the wing. So I keep looking out this window, paranoid, because it's the only light, so I can't see out my window, and I don't know if the person behind me saw me. I just kept doing this, like, over and over again, just staring out the window, just waiting for the freaking raindrops to hit the window. And they never did. And so we're continuing to fly in this cloud, and it doesn't feel like we're going down, as Americans telling us we should be landing in like 3 minutes. And we're very clearly nowhere near the ground yet. And so we're just going through this cloud in the dark. You can't see anything. It's foggy. And I started getting claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic, but usually only in extreme situations. And this was definitely an extreme situation. This was a regional jet, so on both sides of the plane, it was dark, it was foggy, you couldn't see anything except the orange flickering of the wing. And even still, since we were going through a cloud, it only reflected water vapor, which made it look like static outside the window, which just really freaked me out. And so we're coming in, we're coming in, we're coming in. We keep coming in, and we're just not moving. I have flown this sort of route so many times. I know it by heart. I know where the turns are, man. I know where everything is. So I know we have to make a big 180 right-hand turn to enter the airport. We fly by the city, we make a right-hand turn, we come in, we land. So I sit there, hands folded. I had already shut off my switch. I had no Wi-Fi. I couldn't ask my parents if they saw us on a tracker. I couldn't do anything. My music wasn't even working, guys. I was literally just sitting there, hands clasped, trying not to freak out, just telling myself, we're gonna make a right turn soon. We never made the right turn. We never did. And so Americans telling us we should have landed 5 minutes ago, and the plane is making, oh, what's this? We're making a left turn. We're making a left turn. Why are we making a left turn? I don't know. We're not supposed to be making a left turn. What's left? I don't know what's left. Nothing's up left. There's no airports up that way. Where are we going? So we make a left-hand turn, and it's not a big left hand. It's just, we're clearly going left. And then we start making like a little right-hand turns, but then we keep making left-hand turns. And at this point, I am panicking. I am panicking because I'm feeling claustrophobic. I can't text my family. I can't look on the tracker. American keeps telling us we should have already landed and my bag is on its way. So now we know that app is completely lying every time they tell you your bag's on the way. Bull crap. And we're just, I don't know where we are. And we're sitting in this cloud and I start having almost a panic attack. And I am very proud of myself for how I managed to not fall apart sitting there because I was very close. I mean, I was hyperventilating. I was grabbing my armrests. I was trying to fight back tears because I didn't want the other people to see me crying. I was up at the front and the other people there, I don't think they would have taken me crying too kindly. Although, I was sitting next to a crying toddler. So, we're pretty much one and the same. So, we just keep going. And at this point, I come to the conclusion we're being diverted. Why not start Thanksgiving off right with a holly jolly diversion, some small local airport? I don't even know where we are. I was pretty sure at this point we were going to end up in a different state. I just didn't know which state because I didn't know which direction we were headed. I also forgot there is a compass app preloaded on your iPhone. And all I had to do was pull out my compass app and I could see which direction we were going. But it turns out I'm stupid and I was panicking, so I forgot that compass app even existed, which probably would have helped a lot. And eventually, about 25 minutes after it says we're supposed to land, we finally hit turbulence again, which at this point was a welcome relief because it means we're about to land. So we start hitting turbulence and I start seeing rain streaking on the plane windows. We're still in the cloud, but at this point, I have to think we are getting close, right? To some ground. I don't even care where we end up. We could be in Dallas, Fort Worth. We could be in Los Angeles. I don't care. I just want to get on the ground. And then finally, we get out of the cloud layer and immediately after we get hit by the strangest turbulence I've ever encountered. And especially at this point, you know, we're over land and I thought we were going to make a water landing because we're bumping and then we just slide down. The wing just does a slide and dip on both sides. And then immediately after, we drop a couple of feet just straight down, you know, really adds to the fun. And at this point, I was crying. Like, I just had silent tears rolling down my face because I thought this was it. We're landing in the Hudson. We didn't, thankfully. And then finally, I recognize this as my home airport as we start lining up on the runway about 1 minute before we land. And it's raining, and it's windy. And at this point, I see us lined up, and I think we're finally in the clear. We are not finally in the clear, because if you've ever seen a video of a plane trying to land in crosswinds, that's what happened. We almost had a wing strike. I made the bad mistake of turning around to look out the window, and I saw the wing get scarily close to the ground as we're doing the sliding thing, as the pilots try to deal with the, you know, crosswinds. And you could tell too, because they kept the nose up for a pretty long time, and it started coming down slowly. It was not fun. It was not fun. And I got off, and I was shaken up. I had to go to the bathroom and take a couple minutes to compose myself. Because at that point, I mentally resolved myself to never stepping on a plane again, which was unfortunate because I had to get back on a plane in 5 days. I'm not exaggerating, I promise it was really that bad. So yeah, that was my plane experience. It was fun, you know? Nothing like a good old death-defying flight to really kick off the start to your holiday season. And the worst part is I was flying by myself, so I tried to convey the horror to my parents, and they didn't get it. They don't help either. You mentioned turbulence. Did I tell you about the time we were on that Lufthansa flight and it just dropped like 500 feet? I was terrified. Yeah, thanks. That's how you instill a fear of flying for life in your children. Thank you. My flight back out was better. It was bumpy still, but it wasn't as bad. It was at least normal. It was normal bumpy. I never thought I'd be grateful for normal bumps. Also, I just wanted to say thank you guys for such positive reception on the last story time video, because I wasn't really sure if I wanted to make more of this type of stuff. You know, who would really want to listen to me talk about some random topic for like 15 minutes? But you guys seem to really enjoy it, and I appreciate that because it's really easy for me to just sit down and talk about stuff. Like, who else is gonna listen to me complain about my flight for like 20 minutes? But yeah, so I know you guys won't see this until December or January, but I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving if you're American, and if you're not American, I hope you had a really good weekend and enjoy the Macy's parade either way. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you guys have any equally fun or weird airplane stories you want to share, feel free to share them. You know, I love reading them and reminding myself it could have been way worse. Okay, well, anyway, I hope you guys have great holidays, no matter what you celebrate. I'm looking forward to making a lot of content in the new year because even though it's still November, it's gonna be the new year by the time this finally goes up. I love being slow. Okay. Is there anything else I want to say before I turn this off? No? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Okay, see ya!